Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bride Side. I'm your host, Katie Inman. This is a podcast that focuses solely on positive stories, the good news that's happening in our community and beyond. And this is our 5th episode. We have filled up a whole hand with our episodes, which is crazy to think about that we started this podcast this summer and it has grown to what it is now. I'm also here with my partner in positivity, Shelby Wright.
Hi.
Yeah, behind the mic, looking like a DJ with her headphones on. Shelby's the one that makes sure everything looks good and helps things pop up on the screen. And we're so glad that she is in this room because I would have no idea how to do any of that. But today we have got a really fun show planned for you today. Of course, we want to start, though, by checking in with each other and sort of talking about the good things that are going on in our sphere because we need to start it off on a good note. So, Shelby, why don't you kick us off? What is going on good in your life?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I didn't do like a whole lot this past week, which is kind of nice. I like have nothing going on.
Yeah.
It's like I'm super excited to have weeks where I can just chill and do nothing but work. I feel like I haven't had one of those weeks since like, I don't know, March maybe. Yeah. And so, yeah. And over the weekend, I went to the lake with my family.
Fun.
And my dad has a boat. And so my brother and I went out to North Lake and we went up to Stardust Marina and did like a whole like little seafood boil thing. It was really fun.
Oh, that does sound so fun. I love, and isn't that funny that whenever you're an adult, you love the quiet time?
Yes. It's kind of sad, but
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you though, because I'm like, I love it when I have nothing to do. And it's a quiet week, but you know, for every quiet week, there's also a very busy week. So that's why you cherish it so much. But me and Thomas, my boyfriend, we went up to a wedding in Jonesboro this weekend. And I've only met this couple one time. It was definitely a couple that Thomas, he has known the groom since he was a little kid. They went to church together and then they ended up going to Maryville College together and all this stuff. And the bride, I'd only met her one time. So I was like, I'm not going to get emotional at this wedding. Well, joke was on me because as soon as the bride walked down the aisle, I was bawling my eyes out. Their vows, I was crying. And then, of course, the first dances, I was crying. And then the speeches, I was crying. And I'm like, these are strangers to me. Why am I crying? But it's just happy tears because I think I just feel like, oh, these people are so happy. I'm so happy for them. And thank goodness Thomas had a handkerchief in his coat that he gave to me. So he's a real one for that. There's also a lot of fun things going on in my friend group right now. I got to see both of my best friends yesterday, and that's a little teaser for what's coming up later on in the show. The very last thing we're going to do today is the positivity calling segment where I call someone in my phone. Today I'm calling my best friend Kendra, and she has some very exciting news to share. And I'm not going to spoil her news. I'm going to let her tell the news, but it is worth sticking around for. And then also coming up today, we got a lot of great stories lined up. We have a local story out of Newport that proves that you're never too young to make a difference. We also have how a wild and daring TV star gave back to a South Knoxville school. And we also have a look at some of the best stories involving animals as we do every week. That is a constant around here. We're also going to have a back to school chat because so many kids are going back to the classroom, and then some inspiring words from a breast cancer fighter. So a lot to get to. Let's dive right in. First up, we want to talk about some stories that made us smile. We're going to head to Newport, where a rising 4th grader was able to raise a lot of money for his principal's daughter, who is diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. This story is one that you are going to just leave smiling. So take a look.
I wanted to see how I can help, and so far we're doing really good with this project.
Sam Crawford is a soon-to-be 4th grader at Newport Grammar School, and this summer, he's leading his community in a very important project. It's called the Heartbeat Project.
We collected cardboard hearts. People wrote and drew what community means to them, and we collected them from a bunch of spots, and I wanted a way that kids can help too.
This April, Sam learned that his principal's only child, Caroline, was diagnosed with a rare but aggressive disease called Ewing sarcoma.
Well, it's a bone disease bone and soft tissue, but it's rare because hers is in her head, in her skull.
As soon as Sam found out, he knew he wanted to help.
My mom told me a little bit about it, and a few teachers told me to wear purple. So ever since that happened, I've been doing this project.
Although Sam had never met Caroline, he knew he wanted to help her family in some way. And the Heartbeat Project allowed Sam and Caroline to meet.
One day I got to meet her at her house, and I got to give her a basket of a bunch of stitch and stuff, and we got to give her her own set of pins, and that was a really fun day.
Sam says every time he went to a store, he tried to find items Caroline might like, which the Morrows say is just an example of how the community comes together.
He came by and showed her some of the hearts and brought some of the ones, because the actual project itself is supposed to be more, it's a community-based project. Everything is about the community and the love, and we felt that love for sure.
The Morrows tell me they're incredibly grateful for the people that have rallied behind them from far and wide, and to Sam for bringing all of them together.
And we just couldn't be more proud and thankful for him and everybody that's stepped up to lend a hand and send a card, say a prayer, offer this little munchkin right here.
That was Emily Crabtree reporting, and man, how impressive is Sam? Shelby and I were talking during that story about how some kids are just so heartfelt. This Heartbeat Project just is the perfect name for that, because it shows his heartbeat and the community's heartbeat too. Power of community. I mean, whenever I was in elementary school, I was thinking about what I was having for lunch that day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Thinking that these children, I mean, it's like you said while we were talking, it's a testament to their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Just like thinking about anyone besides themselves, like kids should be kids, but for a kid to see another kid in need and just want to make their day happier and brighter, oh my God, it just makes me want to cry.
I know. Shelby's like, I'm feeling emotional today. But also, there is a way that you can still help with the Heartbeat Project, too. I mean, he's raised $11,000 to help out a little girl. Yeah, he had never even met her. He just heard about her story and wanted to help. So not only are they doing those hearts, but they're also collecting money. We do have a link on our website where you can find out more about the Heartbeat Project, how you can help all those things if you feel led to give in any sort of way. All right, next up, we have another local story. I love it when that happens, when we've got so much good news happening here locally in East Tennessee. This one is about a Hollywood star from Knoxville who was able to give back to his alma mater in the form of a new weight room. Here is a William Winnett.
South Knoxville is home. It's where I was born and raised, and so many people that meant so much to my life are still here. I have family still here. Yeah, I just can't tell you how special this is for me to come back today, and the turnout, and it's really great. How you doing? Whatever I've done with my career, I have learned that like positivity is kind of what gets you through.
Better focus on the ones that I can live.
People that I know that are successful, I don't know one of them that's negative. I know some of them, there may be kind of jerks, but just the positive mindset, and hopefully they can build on this. This is amazing. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Knoxville really stepped up. Like, we raised a lot of money by selling shirts, and like well over half of the money came from Knoxville taking care of their own. And I'm just really humbled by it all.
So if you didn't catch who that was Johnny Knoxville, of course, hometown guy. Johnny Knoxville's not his real name. He sort of changed it whenever he went into Hollywood as an ode to where he loves so much. But he's, of course, famous for doing all those crazy stunts and being the host of Fear Factor and all those wild things. But he saw a need at his alma mater at South Doyle High School, and he wanted to fill it. So he sold shirts. The shirt that he was wearing there, the proceeds from that went to fund this new weight room. And then he also teamed up with Sorenex exercise equipment to be able to redo that weight room. But two things that stood out to me in that story that William Winnett put together was, the first one was, throughout my career, I have learned that positivity is what gets you through. Amen. And then the second one right after that, he said, people that I know that are successful, I don't know one of them that's negative. He said, some of them may be jerks, but they're not negative. And I think that that's something that we can all take away. You know, be positive, move forward, because a successful Hollywood guy like Johnny Knoxville, if he's preaching that, there's got to be some truth behind it too. So, and congrats to South Doyle also. That's an awesome sort of ceremony and a thing that they get to enjoy all year long now.
That's great.
There you go. All right. Well, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, but whenever we come back, we are going to talk about all things animals, from kittens to ponies and even a kangaroo. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back to The Bright Side. Okay, we are going to talk all about the cute animal stories. You know you love it. We are going to start with kittens. Who doesn't love a kitten? This first one that we want to talk about, this is actually something my mom showed me whenever the Channel 10 Instagram posted it. She was like, have you seen this? I was like, no. And then Shelby was like, maybe we could talk about this. And I thought, great. My mom can take credit for getting this one on the bright side, but it's about a little kitten at a vet in Ohio, and one of the vet staff made a makeshift wheelchair for it out of Hot Wheels, and also, what else is it? Zip ties, Hot Wheels, and rulers. Oh my goodness, his name is Gelato, by the way. Look how cute.
He's so cute.
I just can't. And he became a viral sensation, obviously. I mean, a kitten in a wheelchair with Hot Wheels and rulers and all that. I mean, so he had, of course, some symptoms in his back legs that caused them to have to make this for him to help him get around. But, oh, Gelato.
Oh, he's so cute.
I know. Yeah, he's up in Ohio, but man, kittens. They do something.
You can't do anything better than kittens.
Exactly. And that's why this next story is also about a kitten. And it's actually about how a kitten got stuck in a tight spot, and there was an 8-hour rescue to make sure that it got back to safety. Yeah. So let's roll that clip.
You can hear it before you can see it. Deep inside a storm drain in West Little Rock, a tiny cry for help. And by the end of the day, dozens of strangers answered. It started with a handwritten sign taped above the storm drain and a Facebook post asking for help. One by one of them was Cooper Chadbourne. He saw his post over a morning Red Bull, and he figured the tools he uses every day might be enough to save a kitten.
When I'm not helping with animal rescue, I do a lot of river cleanups, and we basically have developed a lot of techniques for using long reach tools to reach trash that's harder to get to, that's high in a tree or deep underwater or whatever. And I thought when I saw trapped in a drain, it was like, hey, I might be able to help them with this one.
But it wasn't just Chadbourne. People like Preston Nolan showed up too. Cameras went into the drain on a pole with a flashlight. Nets followed. Even firefighters answered the call.
We had women, business women in nice dress clothes in the manholes. People come from all over to do everything they can to take care of these little guys.
Volunteers lowered cameras, flashlights, and even bed sheets tied into a makeshift rope. And then a sound. The kitten was finally moving.
It took several hours before we got our first sighting of the kitten. And then towards the end, we could hear it getting a little bit closer.
Hours passed, food didn't work, and then the kitten disappeared around a bend in the pipe. Then a tiny paw reached for a dangling strap, and for the first time all afternoon, Hope climbed with it.
He climbed right past the net and started climbing the strap like a little monkey. And then we dropped another, they had some clothing tied together, like the old bed sheets to escape from jail thing, and it eventually latched on that, and we were able to pull it the last few feet and pull it out.
Come here. I got you.
You got it.
I got you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You gave us a run for your money, huh?
It was one post that drew volunteers for a little life in the drain, but one rescue became a reminder of who shows up when nobody has to.
We're lucky to have so many people that really care about animals and could drop everything that they were doing and come out and help. So we're very grateful.
Strangers began showing up.
I can't get over that last little meow. I also, you hear like cats stuck in trees all the time. You know, the fire department has to come rescue them. Never manhole, but I mean,
Yeah.
those are some keen ears to hear a kitten.
Oh, I
down
know.
there.
Like even though he's got a funky little meow, so maybe
He
it would catch your
does,
attention, but I don't know how you would get his attention. I don't know. Like, I just want to know officially. They were like, what is that noise?
I know, and then the tape sign that's like, hey, and then the social media, and everyone came
Dedication.
out there. 8 hours, man. That kitten must have
Wow.
been like, what is happening?
Mhm.
And then now that it's rescued, it's like, who are you people? And I'm sure that kitten is going to have a great home now.
Oh, yeah.
Better home than a manhole, that's
Oh,
for
for
sure. Yeah, that was over in Arkansas, but we all love those kitten stories. Well, this next story is not about a kitten. It's actually about a kangaroo. It is, you could say, an employee at a local smoke and vape shop here in Knoxville. This is a wacky story too, but it is so fun to watch. You usually don't see kangaroos here in East Tennessee. You usually see them down under, unless they're at a petting zoo or something. But this is a story from Michelle Silva. Take a look.
This vape shop on Western Avenue may look similar to others in Knoxville, except for some unusual characters inside.
People will come from over an hour away just to my shop.
And not just to shop the products. Dale Montpelier Jr. says it's to meet the mascot of the Blue Roo, an actual roo, Sophie, who is a hoot to watch.
10 years. They're very curious creatures, literally just like a toddler. If they can get into it, they're going to get into it.
She kinda is a toddler, just 1 year and 8 months out of the pouch and stands about 3 feet tall.
It's basically like bringing my kid to work. I have to child-proof the entire office. If something's her level, she'll start fiddling with it with her hands.
But the vape shop isn't Sophie's only workplace.
Come on, kangaroo lawyer.
On occasion, Dale Montpelier Sr. will take her to his law office and even to court.
I want my clients to see your legal problem. It's really important to you, and it's important to me too. But there's really no need to be so upset. The system is not going to eat you alive.
Sophie came from a family in Indiana. Dale Sr. wanted one ever since his time in Australia.
When I saw this mob of kangaroos hopping by, I thought, there's my spirit animal. They're relaxed, they don't get upset. If there's an issue, they take it with a grain of salt and move on. They just want to be happy. And I think, isn't that what we're all after here? Well, there is a role model that you can see it.
And while Sophie can be a little mischievous, Dale says he never has to worry about her taking off.
Take her to a park, she'll run around in a big circle in the park. She's not going to run off. I'm safety. She's going to come back to me.
File that under things you definitely don't see every day. Imagine walking into that vape shop or even the park or court and seeing a kangaroo. I'd be like, am I dreaming? Am I asleep right now? That is so wild. And if you're wondering too, kangaroos are legal here in Tennessee too. And the owner of the kangaroo actually said that you don't even have to have tags or anything for the kangaroo like you would for a dog.
Yeah, Tennessee loves their exotic animals.
Yep, they
But
do.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me too. And if you're wondering where that vape shop is, it's called Blue Roo Vape Shop, which I thought was funny.
That's very
kangaroo.
iconic.
It's on Western Avenue too. If you want to stop in and see the kangaroo, Sophie's usually there on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So, just for your knowledge, hey, Shelby wrote that down. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But all right, the last in our little animal segment, we want to talk about something that whenever it came across my phone this weekend, I was like, what? A miniature pony went missing in Knoxville. And KPD found it, and they couldn't find the owner. And eventually they did find the owner, but they posted on X saying, you know, file this under things that you don't see every day, much like we said about the kangaroo. But they found that little pony, My Little Pony, and then they found the owner. But I saw the push alert come across my screen. Were you working whenever that came in?
I was about to come in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I came in and I saw the article and I was like, hello? Who has a little pony in North Knoxville, right? To like just let loose.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they found the owner.
I know. Yeah, it was over in the high school area. So it was like, all right, well, glad the pony's back home. Well, all right, to round out this sort of segment of the show, we want to talk about some hot topics that are going on in and around Knoxville. Of course, right now is back to school season. So if you have a school-aged child in your life, you know it has been the tax-free weekend. It has been the school supply shopping. It has been getting ready for the first day of school. I have some friends and family who are teachers, and they were also getting ready for back to school. But our reporter, Nicole Borman, she actually did a story about how Hamblin County, they're changing up some guidelines when it comes to AI and technology.
Instead of standard AI tech, the district uses Magic School, which will help teachers adjust their plans to better serve their classroom.
But primary focus with AI is on providing our teachers and our staff a tool that will allow them to be more efficient and effective with their time.
The district has new policies on limiting screen time, so kindergartners and first graders will no longer have their own devices provided by the school.
Although it does give us a budgetary benefit out of it, predominantly because we want to get more to where it's teacher instruction, not computer use.
Their changes are to ease parents' concerns and start the school year strong.
Yeah, so obviously that is a decision that Hamblin County Schools is making for this upcoming school year. They're actually back in the classroom this week. But this is something, too, that whenever, Shelby, you and I were in school, I remember it would be a thing where we would schedule time to go to the computer lab.
Yeah.
You know, we did not have personal computers. That wasn't even a thought in our minds.
No, never.
We barely had cell phones whenever I was in school. I mean, my parents, had them, but I remember the floppy disk and all of the having typing class. But it's funny to see how some school districts, initially leaned really into tech and now they're sort of pumping the brakes.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely is interesting. But you know what? I think this is depending on who you ask, I think this is kind of good news that we're kind of detransitioning, because I remember I was probably in 5th grade when Knox County Schools got that grant for some schools to get MacBooks in their classrooms. And it was a huge deal. And I remember everyone being kind of excited because, we had those big bubble computers in our labs, and I hated computer lab day. It's kind of funny that I have this job because I deal with 3 monitors every day, but I am not a tech person, never have been. And then all of a sudden we had to do all of our work on the computer. And because it was brand new, it was not very functional. And then, of course, by the time I was in high school, everyone had Chromebooks. And then it kind of just depended on the teacher. But I think it's really interesting to where now, the school system is all right, let's maybe take a step back. It's probably been I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years since all that even happened.
Yeah, that's super interesting because that had not really hit schools whenever I was in school. So I graduated high school in 2014. Old. But yeah, we wrote everything by hand. If we had papers that we typed, that was very few and far between. Of course, in college, we typed everything and everyone had a computer, but that's college. But yeah, it's just something that a lot of parents have said that they feel like their kids will learn better if it's more focused on the teacher instruction and they're not staring at a screen, because screen time is such a big hot topic anyway. Yeah. So anyways, like Shelby said, this could be good news, depending on who you ask. But I think for learning, I think it could be a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anyway, all right. Well, that wraps up this break, but we are going to be right back. We are going to have some positive words from some people out in the community, including a breast cancer fighter and my best friend. We'll be right back. welcome back. This is the final segment of the show. But before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my weekly streaming segment that I put together every week called Out and About in East Tennessee. If you didn't know, my job at WBIR Channel 10 is kind of like a lesson in positivity because every day I'm out and about somewhere different, shining a positive light on different communities, events, all sorts of different things. So here is a little glimpse at what I was able to explore recently in East Tennessee. On Monday, I was out and about in South Knoxville at the Forks of the River Wildlife Management Area. I'm standing in a shady part where there's a paved and beautiful trail that you can get through. Usually this area is where you'll find the sunflowers that TWRA plants for the wildlife. But by the time that we got out here on Monday, July 27th, those sunflowers were wilted and TWRA was spraying them so that they could wilt the rest of the way down. On Tuesday, I was out and about at Soaky Mountain Water Park because it was National Water Park Day. Well, on Wednesday, I was out and about in West Knoxville at the Statement Pop-Up Consignment Sale. And just a quick note too, on Tuesday, I was at Soaky Mountain and I was all prepared to go and tell you all about National Water Park Day on air, but then there was a tornado warning. So if you didn't see me there on air, that is why. On Thursday, I was out and about in downtown Lenoir City because they were hosting a particularly fun kind of Thursday night for ladies to come sip, shop, and stroll. On Friday, we rounded out the week right at Covenant Health Park. And tonight, it is time to paint the park pink for breast cancer. I always have a ton of fun on all my different adventures at 4 o'clock on 10 About Town every day on WBIR. If you want to watch that full thing, it is streaming right now on our WBIR Plus streaming app on your TVs. And also you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the whole thing too. But the last little bit where I was at Covenant Health Park for painting the park pink, that is the perfect little segue into this next little thing I want to talk about. A few weeks ago, I mentioned that a doctor I interviewed wanted me to start asking people I come across while I'm doing live shots or interviews about something positive that's going on in their life. Well, I have been doing that. And this little soundbite that I want to play you, it is from a woman named Ellie Vidovich. She lives in Sweetwater and she is currently fighting breast cancer. She's in her 30s. And she has a young family. And a few weeks ago, a Sweetwater petting zoo, they hosted a fundraiser for her. But I asked her, in the midst of so much turmoil going on in her life, what makes her smile? What good is going on? Listen to what she had to say.
Everything. It sounds so weird to say, but I have been shown so much kindness and generosity, and the people that have stepped up that reach far beyond my family, my friends. It's our entire community. And at the end of the day, how could you not be so thankful for that?
Now that is a perspective I think we can all use. Even in the midst of the worst thing in her life right now, going through treatments, she still sees the beauty and the positivity that is in her community and in people that she knows and even strangers. She inspired me that day. It made me want to cry. But Ellie, we are thinking about you. We are praying for you. And this episode number 5, is actually dropping on the 10th of the month, which is Buddy Check 10 Days. So here is your reminder. If you are a woman, call up your buddy and remind her to do a breast self-exam and do one yourself because early detection is key in the fight against breast cancer. Can't stress that enough. All right, now. Drum roll. We are now going to do our positivity calling segment where I call someone in my contacts list. Today, I'm calling my best friend Kendra. We have been friends since 3rd grade.
Wow.
Yes, we went all through school together. We danced together. We're on dance teams together. We were even roommates in college, and we are still best friends.
Wow.
There's actually 3 best friends, me, Kendra, Emily. We call ourselves the Blonde Squad. We're all blonde. You can put that all together. I gave her a heads up that I was going to be calling her. I'm going to let her tell you the good news that happened to her very recently. So here we go. I hope she picks up. She said she was ready, so. Hello. Okay, you are on the bright side right now. Thank you for picking up.
Of course, happy to.
Okay, so I have been teasing the viewers all show long that you have some exciting news to share, but I haven't told them what the exciting news is. So what just happened to you recently?
I just got engaged.
I know. So, and it's such an exciting time. I know we've talked all about it, but I mean, you were saying that you felt just sort of like out of body. I mean, how are you feeling now? Are you still on cloud nine?
Yes, very much still on cloud nine. It still feels very unreal. It hasn't fully sunk in yet. I went back to work today from vacation and got to tell all my coworkers about it. So I've been talking more and more about it after sharing with my family and my friends and now my coworkers. It's feeling more real.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just been a lot of like love coming in. So it's been really just, I don't know, fills my heart with how many people care
Yeah.
and send us messages and things.
Yeah, I know, because you posted on social media, and so you shared it with the world. So I was like, okay, she's free game for me to call for this. But I mean, you got a new piece of jewelry, but give us a little rundown, the SparkNote version of how it all went down.
Okay, so I was on family vacation with my at the time boyfriend and his entire family.
At the time, yeah.
And we were supposed to have family pictures on Wednesday. His brother flew in that day, so we were just going to get them out of the way. And so we stayed on the beach a little later so we could let the sun get down. And then we got ready and we were in St. Augustine, Florida, and it's very historical. So we went to the fort of San Marcos, and that's where he actually did it. And we were supposed to take pictures there. So we were all walking around trying to find the perfect location to take these pictures, and we ended up walking around the entire moat to get back to the front. So I was like, okay, it's definitely not happening. They don't have anything together. This is not happening today. It's no big deal. And then all of a sudden, we're at the front, and it's our turn to take a picture. And he's like, okay, just give your purse to, like, my sister and take my glasses. And then I come back, and he keeps trying to, like, grab my hand. So I was like, okay, this is the moment. So I switched sides with him. I was like, hey, let me get to the other side. So my left hand was in the front.
Nice.
And he did it. Yes. Yeah, I caught on in that moment. And my whole heart sank. But it was the sweetest moment. And his entire family was there. And they actually had FaceTime my sister and grandmother, so they were watching via FaceTime. And then I got to call my parents immediately after, and then I called you and Emily immediately after, and it was just so sweet to get to share with everybody.
I know, and you didn't just say yes.
Yes, no, when he asked, I said definitely.
Yeah, it was cute.
And he has mentioned it several times.
It will probably continue to be mentioned. It was such a sweet moment, and I'm so happy for you. It's just entering into a new era, and it's so exciting.
Very much so.
Well, I mean, and now, I mean, the real fun begins, planning a wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's the fun and the hard part. But I've already started looking at venues that I want to maybe tour soon and try to get that date locked down so I can actually get plans going, because I'm very much a planner.
Yes. Well, we are so happy for you. Okay, any advice before you go for people who are watching this, encouragement to look on the bright side, or any positivity that you can leave the viewers with?
I would say that even when you think things aren't going your way, things always work out the way they're supposed to. I went into the trip thinking it wasn't going to happen, even though I was really hopeful it might happen. And then it did happen, so to my surprise, because I really didn't think it was going to. And it was just the sweetest thing. And the fact that he planned it out and everything, that was, you just find the sweet pieces of everything when you just kind of stop planning so much and expecting, and just let things happen the way they fall. And that's my piece of advice. Just let things happen and enjoy each moment.
Oh, I love that. Such good things to leave with. Well, congratulations again. And
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll continue to keep people updated on how this is going. Like in a year or so, we'll be like, all right, let's check back in with Kendra. She's walking down the aisle. No. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I will talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Sounds good. Love you.
Okay, there you go. It's so exciting. She did FaceTime me and Emily.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I was visiting my dad at the time, and I'm like, I know exactly what this is.
Yeah. Did you know about it beforehand?
A little bit, because we've talked about this with her and everything, but her then boyfriend Dalton, he reached out to Emily and I like in a message and was like, I'm ring shopping, I'm getting a ring, what do you guys think? So we gave him some feedback and all of that sort of stuff. So we knew it was in the process, but we didn't know anything about when it was going to happen. He didn't clue us in on that, which I'm kind of glad, because I don't know if I could have kept a straight face
yeah,
or
that's
a
really
secret.
hard to keep a secret.
I know, but obviously whenever we got the message, we're like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Yeah.
And there's just something special about watching your best friend, be so happy and all of that. So I'm like, we've talked about this for so long, but all right, that is what we leave you with today. Hopefully this episode filled your life with some brightness, left you smiling ear to ear. And we hope that this episode also helps you go into this week looking for those bright spots, looking on the bright side of everything that you do. So thanks so much for joining us. For Shelby and I, we'll see you next week.